Welcome back, folks, to another episode. I want to thank you guys for stopping in. As mentioned, we are going to get into the basics of what it takes to get into trout fishing. The bare bones minimum, how you can get out here and do this for simple and cheap. Let's get into it. So to start out, what kind of fancy rod and reel setup do you need? And you don't. You don't need anything fancy. You just need something mid 6 foot to 6 foot minimum. So I run actually a 6'8" rod because this is my drop shot rod that I actually transitioned to trout fishing when I want to trout fish. But all you need is something simple. A simple panfish rod that's medium light. That's all you need. Typically you're going to be fighting fish, that are 10 to 12 inches long. Simple ultralight setup, panfish setup will work. So pair that with some type of spinning reel. This is a 300 series Lews spinning reel. You don't need anything fancy, something with decent drag, but whatever you got, bring it. That's what you need. I like something that's a little bit more fast action. It lets those fish take that bait. They're very aggressive eaters. They're going to come up behind a rock or from the bottom while you're fluttering through the current, and they're going to attack. That's how trout are. So you start with something that's a little bit got a little bit fast action. Those fish are going to be able to take that bait a little bit before you set the hook and lean into them. It helps quite a bit. So that's all. I run a lot of my stuff. I run braid to monofilament or fluorocarbon leaders. Here I am running a braided setup to a 4-pound monofilament leader. It's just 4-pound Fluoroclear, made by P-Line. It's a monofilament that's coated with fluorocarbon, so you get some of the invisibility properties of fluorocarbon, but monofilament I like in this scenario because I feel like it floats a little bit better. You're already trying to battle the current in some of these scenarios, so that bait with that monofilament on it isn't going to want to sink to the bottom, and that could just mean enough that you're hitting bottom in some shallower stuff, or you're running just above it and getting hits. So you could run straight monofilament, straight fluorocarbon, whatever you prefer. You could run straight braid if you wanted. That's my suggestions. So next up, let's talk about baits. And I'm going to keep it simple here again. I prefer inline spinners, specifically Panther Martins, Johnson minnow spins, MEPS, whatever you prefer. That's all you need out here, really. You can get kind of fancy with some floating Rapalas and some smaller swim baits, but number 4s and number 2s, I believe, MEPS, otherwise 16th ounce or 8th ounce are my go-to sizes. My primary colors are black and gold and blue and silver. Black and gold when the water's a little darker or it's darker out, and black and silver when things are a little bit cleaner. If you start out with that stuff, you don't need to break the bank, and you can get started pretty efficiently. Things like this are available at your farm and fleets, your fleet farms, your local tackle shops. Walmart, I'm sure, even has them. So I will list everything as Amazon links in the description, but I will make mention that's just for ease of linking things. Get out to your local sporting goods stores and check them out for these baits. Tell them you want to go trout fishing, you want some little inline spinners. They should be able to point you in the right direction. So there you go. Another brand is Joe's flies. They're a little bit more of a finesse fly. That would help as well. They have a smaller, sticky treble hook on the back of it and a more realistic fly on the end. That can help when things are a little bit finicky. Even little Cleos, little spoons can work. But that's all I run. All of my baits right here that I typically run will fit in this little tackle organizer right here. That's it. That's what I run with. So I can take these two things, right? Stick them in a pocket, and off I go. That's trout fishing. That's the basics of it. That's what you need. I, of course, run a bag, but that's because I carry a lot of my camera gear, filming stuff, things like that, and it's just handy for all of that stuff. If you're interested in something like this, it goes over your back. It's an Allen Cedar Creek, I believe, back bag, I don't know, but it's pretty handy. When you want to take your baits out, you just flip it over, you got everything there, you zip it back up, and there you go. Throw it back over, it's out of the way, and you can keep on trucking. But you don't need that. You can take this, and you probably, if you're going to run straight line, you don't even need this. So bring this guy, stick it in your pocket, there you go. That's all you need. Simple as that. All right, two tools I don't leave home without, and you might think, Adam, I never leave home without a pliers. Well, make sure you got one, especially trout fishing. Forceps, pliers, hook remover, whatever you run, because these fish are going to attack your baits, right? Like I said, they're very aggressive, opportunistic, and they're going to hammer that bait, and they're going to get it stuck in the back of their tiny little throat, and more often than not, you're probably going to hook a gill. So if you don't have something like this, you're not going to be able to meticulously get those fish back and safe, and make sure they aren't dying on you. Especially right now, it's catch and release only in Wisconsin. So the other simple little tool I run is a nippers on a retractable thing, whatever you want to call this deal. But you can cut your line. It also has a little eyelet punch for punching your jig heads, but they're handy. You can clip it anywhere, your belt loop, onto your bag, whatever. It's out of the way and you're not losing it. So two tools I don't leave home without, pliers and a little retractable nippers. Alright, we got the rods out of the way, reels out of the way, line, baits, tools, and you're saying, I don't know where to get started. Well, first bet, take a look at your Wisconsin trout regulations. You can pick this pamphlet up wherever they sell licenses, or this is also available online. I'll leave the link down below. But here in the trout regulations, you go on the back, you figure out where you want to go in Wisconsin. Anywhere. They're all numbered. These are the page numbers they're on. You go to that page, right? And we want to look in Door County, page 16, right? There's quite a few trout streams in Door County. You want to look in western Wisconsin, where we're at right now. Every single trout stream is labeled. They're color coordinated based on the length, catch and release length, and the bag limits. But there is also some special regulations per county, so if you don't want to look at the map, go to the county, figure out which one you're at, what stream it is, and there you go. They'll give you the special regulations. So a number one spot to start looking for what trout streams, or what streams have trout in them, your trout regulations. Check it out. I'm sure other states are pretty similar as well. So we are starting to get rained on, but we're going to keep trucking here. The next thing to look at is Onyx Maps. Why Onyx Maps? Yes, it is a subscription-based program or application on your phone, but it shows you what's public and private, or what is publicly accessible. For example, I'm sitting here currently on a publicly accessible piece of private that is leased from the Wisconsin DNR to utilize the public for fishing, specifically because these trout streams are here. There are a vast array of these similar properties throughout Wisconsin, and you can use programs such as Onyx on your phone. It's also handy to have this out here. You can figure out what sections of river are available to fish and what aren't while you're here real time. Otherwise, you can look on the DNR website as well. There's a whole list of, things that'll allow you to figure out what areas are part of that same program and what aren't. So between trout regulations, either the DNR website or Onyx app, you can figure out where to go fishing. A couple other quick little tips. Rubber boots help. I don't ever wear waders. Some guys want to. That's fine. You can really get out there in some bigger rivers and really trudge and get to some hot spots. I fish a lot of tight water, so I'm able to cast all the way across it, and rubber boots help me. I can cross, you know, shallow parts if I want to get to another side, or if one side's too thick and I want to go fish the other side. Keeps things clean, you know, it's muddy out here, you're standing, and I can fish in the water if I need be, you know. Me and a buddy were out here on the same stretch the other day, and I was standing in the middle of the river and he was up farther fishing from the bank. So rubber boots help, or waders, whichever you prefer. When it's cold in early season, I suggest a black plastic glove, or whatever plastic glove. These are just, which might be hard to come by right now, I understand, but when it's cold like it was last week and it was only 30 degrees, this is the fish. I don't carry a net, I just don't. I land my fish with this hand, right? Hold my rod with this hand. This one is, the glove is keeping the fish, you know, safe from your oils and things like that, but it's also, more importantly, keeping your hand dry and the wind off your hand. You don't need much. You don't have to wear another big bulky glove. You can just wear this and keep your hands dry and warm, really. And you don't take up much room. You can stuff them right in your bag. We're going to try and do another video that kind of shows the basics of what kind of pools to look at, where to throw your baits, where those trout are typically orientating and hanging out, more of your high probability fishing spots when you start trying to dissect some of these rivers. But in the end, simplicity. Get yourself an ultralight rod, medium light rod, panfish rod, a small thing of baits, inline spinners, a couple tools, and start looking in your DNR regulations for trout streams near you. That's it. That's all it takes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I want to start doing more of these, really getting you guys in tune with what we're doing and how we do it. If you guys are interested in certain how-tos or have questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. We try and respond right away. But in the end, if you guys like what we're doing, if you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to get out of here while we're still kind of dry. We will catch you on the next one. Please don't forget you are free to prowl, and as always, thank a vet for their service. See you.